Hello and welcome. My name is Carmen Olson. Today we are going to be doing a short tutorial. We're going to pretend that we're entrepreneurs and we're interested in opening up a lemonade stand. So our tutorial is going to cover the model that we would build if we were to calculate our break-even point of our lemonade stand. The problem we're trying to solve is how many glasses of lemonade do we need to sell in order to cover our fixed costs. In other words, what is our break-even point? It's going to cover some Excel skills blended with some business concepts. We'll learn about absolute references, relative references, and formula propagation. We'll also learn about the relationship between revenue, expenses, and profit. We'll learn the difference between fixed costs and variable costs. We'll learn how to calculate break-even point, and we'll learn about contribution margin. Here are some tips for using this tutorial. Follow along at home with Excel using your downloaded copy of this spreadsheet. I'd recommend setting up your monitor so that the video is in one window and Excel is in a different window and they're side by side. This will allow you to pause the video as often as you like while you work on building your own model at home. That way you can repeat concepts or go at your own pace. Now let's get started. Alright, so let's take a little bit of a look at our model. As I said earlier, the problem we're trying to solve is how many glasses of lemonade do we need to sell in order to cover a fixed cost. So in order to start a business, we need to have some key pieces of data. We have our price per glass, which is the amount of revenue that we get for selling one glass of lemonade. We also have what we call our variable costs. For each glass of lemonade, we need lemons, sugar, and paper cups. The total of these costs is called the total variable cost per glass of lemonade. This cost is going to increase in total as we sell more glasses of lemonade. For every additional glass of lemonade that we sell, we're going to have to spend an extra 60 cents in order to pay for the cost of the lemonade. We also have what are called fixed costs. That's our table, our chair, our signs, and our posters. The total fixed cost will not change no matter how many glasses of lemonade we sell. It's going to stay fixed. If we sell an additional glass of lemonade, our total fixed cost will still be $65, no matter how many glasses of lemonade are sold. So let's go ahead and start building our model. So in our first column, we want to look at the number of glasses sold. And the way we're going to build our model is we're building different scenarios. So we're going to look at how much revenue, expenses, and profit we'll have if we sell one glass of lemonade, 2 glasses of lemonade, 3 glasses of lemonade, and we'll keep counting all the way down. If we want to automatically fill a column with data in Excel, the easiest way to do it is to go to the Fill function on the far right-hand corner of the Home tab. We're going to choose Fill Series. Now, since we want our data to move down the column, we're going to select Column. We want it to increase in increments of 1, meaning it's going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our step value will be 1, and our stop value for this example is going to be 250. We're going to click OK, and as you can see, numbers counted from 1 all the way down to 250. So that's setting up our model so that we can calculate the revenue, expenses, and profit for each different sales scenario. So let's calculate our revenue. We know that our revenue has 2 components. We need to look at the price per glass, and we also need to look at how many glasses are sold. So the total amount of money paid to us by the customers is the price per glass multiplied by the number of glasses sold. So let's start with an equal sign in cell G3. Now we're going to use our mouse to click on cell B6. We're going to press multiply because the asterisk is the symbol for multiply in Excel. Then we're going to click on F3. So we're just cell referencing and we're multiplying. We're going to press enter. Now if we want to propagate this formula all the way down the column, we left click on the cell to activate it. Then we hover our mouse on the square on the bottom right hand corner of the cell until it turns into a little black plus sign, and we double click. The formula will be copied all the way down the column until there's no more data. But this doesn't look right. If we sell 2 glasses of revenue, or 2 glasses of lemonade, it says our revenue is 0. If we sell 6 glasses, our revenue is 0. So let's investigate. Something's not working properly. If I double click inside this cell, the colored boxes will show me what 2 numbers are being multiplied. The price times the number of glasses sold. That looks right. Let's go down and double click here. This blue box is moving. And this red box is moving as our formula is propagated. If we go all the way down here, we can check it out. This blue box is nowhere near where we want it to be. We want it to be fixed in B6, but we want this pink box to move as we propagate the formula. So let's go back into our first formula. Since we know that we want the pink box to move as the formula is getting propagated, we want to keep it the same because that's working. But this blue box, we want it to stay glued into B6. We want it to always be fixed. So in order to fix it, we need to press F4. That gives us dollar signs around the B6. That's called an absolute reference. That means that no matter how far we propagate the formula down, it's always going to reference B6. And the F3 is going to change in relation to the location of the formula. So let's press enter. Let's left click inside the cell, hover our mouse on the bottom right hand corner till we get the plus sign, double click, and then propagate. Now let's spot check a few to see what's happening. The 1.1 is fixed and the 4 has moved down. Let's spot check another one. This one's moved down, this is fixed. Spot check another one. So now you can see that the blue square is always staying in the same place while the pink square moves. Perfect, we got it right. Alright, so now that we know that we have to press F4 to get the dollar signs for absolute reference, let's calculate the expenses and practice putting the dollar signs in the right spot. So we'll start with the equal sign. Now we know that we're always going to have to pay our total fixed cost no matter what. So we're going to left click on that cell, we're going to F4 so we get the dollar sign. Then we're going to add the total variable costs. And the total variable cost is always going to be in cell B12. We don't want this cell to move down as our formula becomes propagated. So we're going to press F4 to glue it into place. Then we're going to press the asterisk or the star sign for multiplication. We need to multiply our variable cost by the number of glasses sold because every time we sell an additional glass of lemonade, we have to pay our variable cost. We want this cell to move as our formula gets propagated, so we don't want to press F4. Now let's press enter, left click, double click, boom, we've propagated the formula. Alright, now we're ready to calculate the profit. Profit's pretty straightforward. It's going to be our revenue minus our expenses. So let's click on the equal sign and we're going to click on revenue. We don't want to press F4 because our revenue changes depending on how many glasses of lemonade we sold. We're going to press minus. We're going to click on expenses. Again, our expenses change depending on the glasses of lemonade we sold. We don't press F4. We're going to press enter, left click in the cell, double click to propagate. Lovely. Now you can see there's negative profit, negative profit, negative profit. What we're going to do next is select all of the profit cells, conditional format, so that if the profit is less than 0, we're going to color it red. So now we can easily see, if we go right back to the top, all the negative profits are red, red, red. We scroll down and eventually we're going to get to 0. And we can see that as soon as we sell 130 glasses of lemonade, we start making a profit. We cover our fixed costs. So that's our break-even point is 130. Now there's another way to calculate this, a quick and easy way, but I wanted to explain absolute references, so that's why we built the model. We can calculate our contribution margin, which is the amount of money the sale of one glass of lemonade is going to contribute to covering our fixed costs. The formula for this is price minus the total variable cost per glass. Next, if we take our total fixed cost and divide it by the contribution margin, we'll get the same answer, 130 glasses of lemonade in order to cover our costs. Now, if we look at the graph, you can see we've got our fixed cost, which is here at the beginning, and then eventually our expenses intersect our revenue. And when our revenue gets higher than our expenses, that's when the profit is. The profit's always the difference between the revenue and expenses, and you can see the profit is negative, and it crosses over to 0 right at that break-even point. And that's it for today's lesson. Now you know how to calculate break-even point.